So in this video, I'm going to describe and try to recreate figure 9.8 that was in Management 2.0. This is an example of what the data set looks like that was used to create this chart. Now we notice for this particular set of data, we got subgrouping. So we've got 7 values for each week that we have, 1 for each day of the week. So that's the data set we're going to use. So we're going to be using the subgrouping function. So if we go into Chart Builder, and now we go in Browse, now we're going to pick that data set that we just looked at, and that's lead time. So we're looking at a lead time for 1 day of the week. So we figured that there could be differences by day of the week, so we subgroup it by week, as described in the book. Now if you notice, we have on the right hand side, we got week ending, and then we got transaction hours. So we'll have 7 values for each week ending value. So there's going to be, so we're going to now select subgroup. So we got to pick a subgroup column. We're going to click on that. So what's our subgroup column? Well, it's going to be week ending. So I'm doing a Control C here and putting it over this value. Now it's important in our spreadsheet now to have extra columns that we're not plotting. So that's the column where I just did it wrong. Okay, this, let me Control X here. Subgroup columns. This is our subgroup columns. The data column is this triangle over here. So you got to, what this software does, it replaces spaces with periods. So you need to make sure that you've got all the periods in there. We added a space on the front end of this, so we want to get rid of that. Now we've got our chart. So we're using an individual's chart of the mean value and an individual's chart of standard deviation to look at stability. Now we can also change this to go and look at the mean value. So now we'll see that we got a mean value that's reported here. Well, this one says it's not predictable here. So what we can do, because we've got one value that's out of control here, so what we can do, we can force predictability on it. Now if we force predictability, it makes a prediction statement, because you saw there was one value that was outside the limits. So we need to note that. So that's where we can force predictability. So now if I go in and I look at what I want to have for week ending, okay, so that's what I'd have as week ending. So now my values that I have for week ending on my eye chart here. So now we can go in and call this lead time. Okay, so that's what we have. And so the y-axis, we could go in and put that as hours, I believe it is. So now we go back to our chart. You'll see that we have our chart here. If I hit a right click, then I can do save image as. I can make it as a PNG file. Then we want to go in and call this, maybe we'll call this, we got figure, what do we call it? Management 2.0, figure 9.8, and we can save it. And if we look at, we want to open it, and it gets to be a little bit bigger picture that we can see a little bit better. So that's basically what we have for our chart. So if you got any questions about this chart or any application of the techniques on this EPRS metrics, be sure to give us a shout at info@smartersolutions.com.